Hello, good morning everyone, and welcome to the live casting of economics class with me, Viraj Chhetri, PGT Economics, Kendriya Vidyalaya Barkuhi. If you have joined me for the first time today, then let me inform you that we have been discussing about the chapter money, and we have already discussed the first part of this chapter, that is the meaning of barter system, its limitations, and the definition of money and its components. Okay, so that was the first part which we have discussed in our previous class. Today we will be discussing the second part of this chapter. Okay, and without making much delay, let us start with today's lesson. Okay, today we are going to discuss about what money supply is. Okay, so let us see the definition of money supply. Money supply refers to total volume of money. Okay, it refers to the total volume of money held by the public at a particular point of time in an economy. Okay, so here this is the keyword. Okay, here there are in total three keywords in this definition. First is total volume of money, second is held by the public, and third is particular point of time. So here money supply simply means the total amount of money that is in circulation. Okay, total amount of money which is held by the public, either in the form of cash or in the form of deposits with the bank, which we will discuss later in details, at a particular point of time. Now we need to understand what this term point of time means. Point of time means at a particular time. Okay, for example, if we say 31st March 2020 or 21st August 2019, or say 10 a.m. yesterday, then these are the example of particular point of time. There is no range of time here. Okay, there is no range of time being dealt with in this case. Now money supply is a stock variable, and stock variables are those economic variables which are measured in a point of time. Now, as we have already seen in the definition, it is the total volume of money held by the public at a particular point of time. So since it is being measured in a point of time, so it is automatically a stock variable. Now stock variables are all those variables which will be measured in a point of time. In order to understand the difference between stock variable and flow variable, we will take an example of it. Okay, let us discuss an example, then you will be able to understand the meaning of stock and flow. Okay, so we will take an example. Let's say there are two tanks. The first tank is a bigger tank and it is of 5000 liters. Okay, and there is a second tank which is of 500 liters, and the water is being released from the bigger tank to the smaller tank in this way. You can easily see here the arrow. Okay, now the capacity of first tank, that is the bigger tank, is 5000 liters and the capacity of a smaller tank is 500 liters. Okay, now let us further assume that the bigger tank is full, that is it is filled with 5000 liters of water. At 10 a.m. this bigger tank is filled fully to its capacity, that is it is bearing 5000 liters of water. It is holding or storing 5000 liters of water. Okay, exactly at 10 a.m. the water is released from this tank. Okay, and this smaller tank, okay, which is 500 liters, okay, it gets filled to its capacity, that is 500 liters, at 10:40 a.m. when we are asked to say, okay, when we are asked to say that if what is the capacity or what is the storage of this bigger tank at 10 a.m. what is the stock of water or the storage of water at 10 am in the bigger tank, then it becomes a stock concept, because we are mentioning a particular point of time. In the similar way, if we are asked how much water is there in the smaller tank at 10 am, then we will answer that there is 0 liters of water in this tank, because this tank was empty at 10 am. And when we ask again at 10:40 am, then we say that the storage of water in the smaller tank is 500 liters and the storage of water in the bigger tank will be 5000 minus 500, since the 500 liters have been released from this bigger tank to a smaller tank. So 4500 liters of water will be there in store at 10:40 am in the bigger tank. Okay, this is the example of stock. Stock means at a particular point of time, how much of what quantity of the product is there. So in the similar way, when we deal with money supply, we are saying that the volume of money held by the public at a particular point of time. That is the reason why it is known as stock variable. Now let us know what flow means. Now if we are asked to answer that how much time does it take to fill the smaller tank, then you will obviously mention a time period, that is 40 minutes is taken to fill the 500 liters of water in the smaller tank. This is how the flow is measured. Flow is always measured in terms of time period, whether it be minutes, whether it be days, whether it be weeks, whether it be months, whether it be fortnights, whether it be quarters, semesters, or whether it be yearly basis. Okay, so always when we describe a flow variable, we will describe it with a period of time, and whenever we are discussing about a stock variable, we are dealing with a point of time. Okay, now recall the chapter which we have read in class 11. Okay, we have learnt in class 11 that supply and demand both are flow variable, isn't it? Now money supply is also a supply. Then why is it a stock variable? You always have to remember that there is one exception in supply, which is money supply, and money supply is the only stock variable among all the supplies. You have to remember this. Okay, otherwise you may get confused, because in class 11 we have learned that all supplies and demands are flow variable, but here there is one exception in case of supply, and that exception is money supply. Money supply is a stock variable. Hope you have understood what money supply means and what stock variable means. Now we will move on to our next topic, that is measures of money supply. Okay, according to RBI, that is our central bank of our country, India, according to Reserve Bank of India, or RBI in short, there are 4 measures of money supply, namely M1, M2, M3 and M4. So what does M1 means? Let us see what does M1 means. M1 comprises of 3 things. Okay, they are currency and coins with the public, which can be represented by capital C. Okay, demand deposits of commercial banks, which can be denoted by capital DD. Okay, and other deposits with RBI, which can be represented by OD. So in abbreviation we can say that M1 equals to C. Okay, M1 equals to C plus DD plus OD. Okay, is it clear? Currency and coins with public, which is represented by C, demand deposits of commercial banks, which is represented by DD, and other deposits with RBI, which is represented by OD. Now let us see what these components means in details. Okay, currency and coins with public, we have already discussed about this when we were discussing about the components of money. I'll like to repeat it again. Currency and coins with the public is nothing but the money held by the public in the form of coins or notes. Coins like metallic money, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee, etc. And currency notes like 5 rupees notes, 10 rupees notes, 100 rupees notes, etc. Okay, so there is no confusion at all with this first part, that is currency and coins with the public. It is similar to the component of money which we have discussed earlier in our previous class. Okay, now the second part, that is demand deposits of commercial banks. Now demand deposits comprises of two types of deposits: current account deposits or current deposits, and savings deposits of the public with commercial banks. Okay, here if you see it properly in the formula itself, you will find that demand deposits of commercial banks only. So here we are not dealing with other financial institutions, we are only dealing with commercial banks. Okay, now let us discuss in details what current deposits means and what savings deposits means. Current deposits are usually kept by businessmen. Okay, it is not meant for ordinary people, but ordinary people can also have a current account deposit, but it is more suitable for the business people or the businessmen or women to save their money in the current deposits. It is so because current deposits has some facilities which is most suitable for the business class. Okay, for example, you can deposit money as many times as possible in a day. You can withdraw money as many times as possible in a day. But in current deposits, there is, as we see, demand deposits. Demand deposits means those kind of deposits from which you can withdraw your money on your demand, on your need. When you are in need, you can withdraw the money. Okay, when you are not in need of money, you can leave the money deposited in your account. Okay, so here there are two types of accounts, deposits, that is current and savings deposits. In current deposits, what you can do is you can put the money to your bank account as much as possible, okay, as many times as possible, and you can also withdraw the money as many times as possible. So for maintaining the current account deposits, you will not get any rate of interest against the current account deposits which you have kept. Instead, the customer who is maintaining the current account deposits have to make interest payment to the bank, because the bank is providing a security to his or her money. Because we see that all the businessmen, after doing the businesses, say in a day they are doing the business of 3 lakh or 4 lakh, 5 lakhs, then they cannot keep those money, huge amount of money at their home or in their shop itself. So what they will do is they will take that money immediately after the day's work and go and keep it in the current account deposits. And next day, if they require it to purchase raw materials and all, then immediately they go to the bank and withdraw it and use it for purchasing the raw materials. This is the main purpose of current deposits. So that is the reason why a person or the customer who is having current account deposits don't get any interest on their money saved in the bank. Instead, they have to make payment to the bank, interest to the bank, pay interest to the bank, because bank is providing security to their money. On the other hand, savings deposits, almost all the type of deposits which we have nowadays, let's say our salary account and all those things, are in fact savings deposits. Savings deposits, the money which is there in the savings deposits, which we have saved in the savings deposits, we can use it anytime. Okay, we can withdraw it anytime, we can make use of it for doing shopping and all, for purchasing something. We can easily use the savings deposit money, okay, the money which is there in the savings deposit account. Okay, now there are certain limitations in savings deposits regarding the withdrawal. If you are to withdraw the money from the bank itself, you are not allowed to withdraw more than 4 times a month or 5 times a month. There are limitations. But if you have ATM cards or the checks with you, you can make payment with checks, and you can withdraw money using ATM cards as many times as possible. But in ATM cards also, you will see that some banks have put the restrictions. In metro cities, you can withdraw the money only 3 times a month. If your transaction goes above 3 times, then what will happen is you can withdraw the money, but you will be charged some penalties on that. Okay, in the semi-urban areas or rural areas, it is 5 times. Most of the banks provide you 5 times withdrawal from the ATMs. but after 5 times you have to pay certain penalties to the bank. Okay, not only that, in a day there are also regulations in which in a day you cannot withdraw more than 30,000 or 50,000 or 80,000. In certain case of certain cards, you cannot withdraw more than 80,000 a day. Okay, from bank you can withdraw more than 80,000 or 1 lakh, but you have to provide a specific reason why you are withdrawing a huge amount of money. Okay, so this is how the current deposits and saving deposits functions. Nevertheless, we have to keep one thing in mind, that is these are both demand deposits, and we can withdraw or use those money as and when we are ready to use it, or as and when we are in need to use it. That is the main thing which we have to remember here. Okay, demand deposits means the money kept in the bank which we can use as and when we are in need of it, as and when we demand it. Okay, I hope it is clear to you all. Next component of M1 is other deposits with RBI. Now what does this other deposits with RBI means? Let us see. It mainly has 2 parts. Okay, this explanation has 2 parts. First part is related to what it includes, second part is related to what it does not include. Okay, now let us first see what does it include. Okay, what does it include? Let us first see what does it include. Okay, here what are being included is the money, okay, deposited by foreign banks, governments, foreign banks and governments. If foreign government or foreign banks are depositing money in RBI, then it will be included in other deposits with RBI. Not only foreign banks or foreign governments, but also the international institutions like World Bank, okay, IMF, International Monetary Fund, Asian Development Bank, etc. If they are depositing their money in RBI, then it will be included in other deposits. Okay, it will be included in other deposits. But the other deposits with RBI does not include deposits of the Indian government and commercial banks with RBI. It does not include deposits made by the Indian government or the state governments of India and the commercial banks which are Indian commercial banks like SBI, Punjab National Bank, etc. Okay, hope you have understood. There are 2 parts in other deposits with RBI. First part is what is being included, and what is being included is that the deposits made by foreign banks, foreign governments or international institutions like World Bank, IMF will be included, but the money deposited by commercial banks of India, okay, Indian governments, etc. will not be included in other deposits with RBI. Hope you have understood this. Mainly there are 3 components of M1. Okay, currency or cash held by the public, which is denoted by C, capital C. Demand deposits of commercial banks, which is denoted by capital DD, double D. Okay, and other deposits with RBI, which is represented by OD. Okay, hope it is clear. And in currency and coins with public, currency and coins with public simply means currency notes and coins which is held by the public. Demand deposits of commercial banks comprises of savings account deposits and current account deposits of the public with commercial banks. And other deposits with RBI, it includes deposits made by commercial banks and governments of foreign countries and the other institutions, foreign institutions or international institutions like World Bank, IMF, etc. And it does not include the deposits made by Indian government or the state governments in India and commercial banks of India with RBI. Okay, hope you have understood this. Now we will move on to other measures of money supply. M2, measures of money supply. What does M2 mean? Now M2 comprises of M1. We have already discussed what M1 means, and it comprises of savings deposits with post office savings bank. Now all of you may be aware of the fact that post office also allows you to save some money. Okay, if you are not aware of it, then you are now aware about it. Okay, you can inquire it in your nearby post offices also. Post offices also provides you the opportunity to save your money, or also provides you to save your money. Okay, it is so because earlier what used to happen was bank could not open their branches everywhere, mostly in the rural areas. So post office were given the responsibility to take the savings, or to keep the savings of the rural people, so that they can also be included in the financial system of the country. Okay, so here what happens is M1 plus savings deposits with post office savings banks. Now earlier in M1 we have discussed about demand deposits. Okay, in demand deposits, current deposits, current deposits and savings deposits were discussed, but that of commercial banks. Here on top of that we will add savings deposits with post office. Okay, savings deposits with post office will be added to M1 to give you M2. Okay, hope you have understood this. Now next is M3. Now in M3 what happens here, also you will see M1. Okay, M1 means this only, C plus DD plus OD. In M1 if we add net time deposits with commercial banks. Okay, time deposits with commercial banks, if it is added to M1, then it will give M3. Okay, then it will give M3. Clear? Now earlier if you see the formula of M1, then we have discussed only about demand deposits of commercial banks here. Okay, now you must have heard about the fixed deposit, the term fixed deposit. Fixed deposit means nothing but the time deposits itself. So there are certain restrictions as far as time deposits is concerned. Let us say a person deposits 50,000 rupees, okay, in the fixed account deposits, and agrees to keep it for 5 years time period. Okay, so the maturity period here is 5 years. Now if that person arrives to the bank after 2 years and asks the bank to give back his money, if he wants to withdraw his money, then it is not possible to withdraw. He is not possible to use that money for transaction purposes until the maturity period is over. Okay, if it is really urgent for him to withdraw the money, there are provisions to withdraw the money, obviously after going through some formalities, but he will not be getting the interest rate which was agreed upon. Obviously he will get a discounted value of it. Okay, so net time deposits, there is certain restriction. Okay, in time deposits you cannot withdraw your money, or you cannot use your money whenever you need it. Okay, you have to wait for the maturity period. Clear? Now we'll move on to the next measure of money supply, that is M4, and M4 comprises of M3 plus total deposits with post office. Now here excluding NSC, we'll discuss about this bit later. Let us now focus on this. Here what happened was, in M1 demand deposit was already there, so when we add time deposit with M1, then it becomes the total deposit held with commercial banks. Okay, if we add demand deposits with net time deposits, then it will give you total deposits with commercial bank. So M3 is already including the total deposits held by commercial banks. Okay, now if we add total deposits with post office savings, now in post office also, then we can categorize the deposits in the form of savings deposits and time deposits. So here what is happening in M4 is it will include all the deposits with post office. It means that savings deposit is also included here, and the time deposits with post office is also included here. Okay, so M4 includes everything. Okay, it is already including M3, and M3 is already including M1. M3 means M1 plus time deposits with commercial banks. So in M1 we see C plus DD plus OD. So this becomes C plus DD plus OD plus net time deposits plus total deposits with post office. Okay, so M4 includes every form of money as of now. Okay, now excluding NSC, what does NSC means? The full form of NSC is National Savings Certificate. It is available in the post offices. Okay, it is just like a security or the bond of the government which you can purchase, and it also has a certain maturity period. You have to hold that security for that definite time period, let's say 8 years, 5 years, etc. And then after the maturity period elapses, you can go to the post office and give back those certificate, sell those certificate, and then get the money back. You will get a certain rate of interest. Obviously the rate of interest is higher than the time deposits and the savings deposit, in order to encourage the people to purchase National Savings Certificate. Other than this National Savings Certificate also provides you with tax rebate. That's the reason why people do purchase National Savings Certificate from post offices. Okay, now if we see this 4 measures of money supply, you see that the lower the denomination, that is M1, is also known as the narrowest form of money or narrow form of money. Okay, M1 and M2 combined is known as narrow form of money, and the narrowest form of money is M1. And how do we define this narrowest form of money? It is defined mainly in terms of liquidity. Okay, so M1 is the narrowest form of money in terms of liquidity. It is so because liquidity here means readiness of the money with you, money which is with you to be spent or to be expended. Okay, let's say the cash in hand, okay, currency and coins with public. It can be readily used to purchase anything. See, okay, you go to any shop, you can buy anything with the cash in with you. Okay, until it is not a forfeited note. Okay, then you can easily use the currency and coins to purchase anything you want. Okay, it is highly liquid. That means it is highly acceptable for making payments. Next, demand deposits. If we see demand deposit, nowadays we have so many options to make payments. We can make payments through mobile banking, we can make payments through card, swiping it or tapping it. Nowadays we have a technology which allows us to just tap the card and make the payment. Okay, we have some other forms of wallets nowadays, that is mobile wallets, in which you can transfer the money from your bank account and then use those money for making purchases. So this is the reason why M1 is highly liquid. Okay, that is the reason why it is known as narrow money. Now if we move up more and more, we find that M2 is less liquid than M1, though it is also the narrow form of money, but it is less liquid than M1. Why is it so? It is less liquid than M1 because it comprises of savings deposit with post office. Now savings deposit with post office, what happens is you can withdraw your money only by going to the post office. But take the case of savings deposits with commercial banks, which is included in M1. We can withdraw those money from using ATM cards, or even we can use those ATM cards to make the payments directly at the shops or shopping centers. So it serves the purpose of money itself. Okay, demand deposits with commercial banks. But savings deposit with post office savings bank, there is certain restrictions. Obviously nowadays you must have, if you are aware of it, in the recent times post office have also started issuing ATM cards. Okay, but it is not available in all the post offices. It is only available in the head post offices of the entire district or a certain area. So that is not available with all the post office banks. Okay, post office savings deposit, all the post office savings deposit does not allow you the ATM facilities. That is the reason why it is bit less liquid than the M1. Now if you move up more, M3 is even less liquid than M2, and M4 is not highly liquid. Okay, M4 is the least liquid among these 4 measures of money supply. So M4 is also known as broad money, and it has the lowest liquidity. So M3 and M4 combined together can be treated as broad money, but if we say M4, then M4 is the broadest form of money and M1 is the narrowest money or the narrow money. Okay, hope you have understood till here. Now we will do certain revisions related to this. Okay, let us see whether you will be able to solve it or not. Try solving it. Let us start with true or false. Okay, a money supply is the total volume of money held by the public at a particular period of time. What do you think? Is it true or false? Okay, next question is money supply is a stock variable. Is it true or false? Okay, let's see whether you will be able to answer it. I'll wait for 1 minute and then 30 seconds and then I'll give the answer to it. Okay, let's see whether you are doing it at your home or not, and try to figure out whether you are getting a correct answer or not. First read the questions properly, both the question. Okay, now here I will start with second question. Money supply is a stock variable. It is very clear question. So stock is written here, so it is a true. It is true statement. Okay, second, money supply is the total volume of money. There is no problem till here. See, money supply is the total volume of money held by the public at a particular period of time. The problem is here, period. Okay, in our definition we have seen that it is a point of time, but here it is written as period. So many students may get confused and say or write the answer as a true statement, but it is a false statement. That's the reason why you have to learn the definition properly. Okay, you need to know the concept properly in order to answer this type of question. So this is a false statement because period is written here. Okay, now let us try with some other questions. Fill in the blanks. Okay, M1 equals to C plus dash. I have solved this for you all to give you the hint. M1 equals to C plus DD plus OD in short form, that is cash with public, demand deposits with commercial bank, other deposits with RBI. Now M3 equals to M2 plus dash. Okay, M2 plus dash. Here what we will do, we don't have any relation between M2 and M3, direct relation between M2 and M3, but we know that M3 and M2 both are related with M1, so we will take both of this to a common base, that is M1. So I have also solved this for you all. M2, see, M2 is given, so if we deduct savings deposits with post office from M2, okay, we'll get M1, and when we add net time deposits with commercial bank with M1, then we'll get M3. In the similar way, there are certain more questions. Okay, you can attempt these questions at your home. Okay, try attempting these questions and do send the answers to your respective teachers. They will help you out. Okay, for more questions related to this chapter, you can log into this, or you can go to this website or blog. You will, in this blog, what you will do is you will click on class 12 and then you will go to economics, and then in economics you will find the chapter money and banking, and in money you will find some assessment questions, notes as well. You can copy those notes, okay, by clicking on the file. You will get the file and you can copy those notes in your notebook, and you can attempt the assessment questions which is given there. There are few MCQs also, there are few mathematical questions and few true and false, etc. Whatever questions used do come in the boards, I have given those questions over there, so you can click it there and try solving those assessment questions. Okay, now the very last topic of the chapter is high powered money or base money. What does we mean by high powered money? It is the money produced by the RBI and the government. Okay, it is the money which is issued by RBI or the government, and it consists of mainly two parts. Currency, it consists mainly of two parts. Okay, it consists mainly of two parts, that is currency or cash held by the public and cash reserves with banks. Now this I don't think I need to explain it again, because we have already discussed it time and again. Currency or cash held by the public simply means currency notes or coins which is with the public. Okay, now we have to explain a bit about this cash reserves with banks. We'll discuss about this in details when we will deal with banking chapter, but let me just introduce what cash reserves with banks means. All the commercial banks like State Bank of India, Punjab National Bank, ICICI, Axis, etc., they have to keep a certain amount of cash, okay, a certain amount of cash from their deposit with the RBI, okay, and they also have to, it is known as CRR, cash reserve ratio, and they also have to maintain a certain amount of cash reserves, okay, with themselves, okay, they also have to maintain a certain reserves with themselves so that they can solve the purpose of giving the money those who come for withdrawing their money. Okay, so it is known as SLR or statutory liquidity ratio. We'll discuss about it in details when we will deal with banking chapter, and you will come to know about these two rates easily. So here we just need to know that all the commercial banks are supposed to keep a certain amount of their deposits either with themselves or with the central bank, that is RBI in case of India. Okay, so when we add these two, that is currency held by the public and cash reserves with the bank, then it is known as high powered money. Mathematically we can write high powered money as H equals to C plus R, where H denotes high powered money, C denotes cash held by the public, and R represents cash reserves with the banks. Okay, so H equals to C plus R. You need to know one more thing, that is high powered money is directly related to the amount of money created in the economy or the amount of money supplied in the economy. Okay, so more the value of high powered money, that is C plus R, more the value of high powered money or C plus R, higher will be the money supply in the economy. Okay, it is directly related. Higher the value of, or the higher the amount of high powered money, more will be the money supply in the economy. Though it is not in our syllabus, but it is for your knowledge that higher the value of high powered money, more will be the money supply in the economy. So with this we come to an end of this chapter. Okay, before ending today's lecture, I would like to suggest you some websites. This website, I have discussed about this in my previous lecture also. And this website is mainly for downloading the syllabus. If you don't have the syllabus, go to this website. Okay, search for class 12 syllabus and you can download the syllabus of all the subjects which you have from this particular website. Another website is this kvsrojabalpur.in. RO Jabalpur has come up with a brilliant idea of providing all the materials created by all our colleagues, okay, learned colleagues from different schools. Okay, they are putting those materials in this website. Obviously, according to the subject and the topic, you will find those materials, okay, related to those chapters over here. So you can go to this website and click on the respective subjects and respective chapters and find the questions, notes, videos, etc. from this website. Okay, and till now we have discussed about the chapter money. We have completed the chapter money, that is we were dealing with the second unit of macroeconomics. So in these two classes I have finished discussing about money. We will be dealing with the banking chapter, which is another chapter in this very unit. We will be discussing about banking from our next class onward. Okay, till then I hope you all will stay safe at your home and and keep studying. Okay, thank you very much for listening to me patiently, and do give the feedback. Okay, and please be in touch with your respective teachers from your schools. Obviously all the teachers are very good and I am just the representative of them. Okay, so you will keep in touch with those teachers. Maybe because of the resources all teachers are not able to teach you, but obviously they will help you out. You can contact your teachers for queries related to this chapter, and you can also get the exercises from your respective subject teachers. Okay, through WhatsApp or emails, etc. Till then, we will meet again in our next class with the banking chapter. Till then, thank you very much, and I hope you all will stay safe. Thank you very much.